here, LTTV, Blunt Talk with LT, back again with another reaction. Not a full episode coming on the way, episode 142 coming on the way. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Today we reacting to Judge Joe Brown and Marc Lamont Hill having a debate about or over the Bill Cosby case. It's on the BCN or BNC, whatever this network is called. What is this? Let me pull this up real quick. BNC Go. Yeah, so it's on Marc Lamont Hill's channel or whatever news network this is, Black News Network. The link is in the description to what we're reacting to, so let's get it. Let's pull it up. We're also taking callers. The link is in the description for the StreamYards call. So if you want to be on video and you also want to join the stream and give your opinion, you can hit that link in the description and I'll bring you up on screen with the video that we're reacting to. So let's get to the reaction. Let's go. Fair use.
Welcome back to Black News Tonight. We are here talking once again about the case of Bill Cosby. As you know, he was released to most people's surprise yesterday, walking out of a Pennsylvania state prison because of a very interesting development in his case. And yesterday, many celebrities chimed in on social media. One of TV's most well-known judges, Judge Joe Brown, was one of those people who called out the way that mainstream media had been covering the story. Hours ago, he tweeted, and to be clear, much of this was in response to something I wrote, but he said, anyone who was knowledgeable of American law would have expected and predicted the outcome of the Cosby appeal. Mainstream media in Hollywood incite public disorder by lying to the people about the law and encouraging mob rule. Hollywood reacts to Bill Cosby release with shock. Here to discuss his recent comments, joining me now is Judge Joe Brown. Judge, thank you for joining me. Why do you say that mainstream media encourages mob rule?
I've talked to 43 lawyers around the country, 17 judges, and I haven't found one that was shocked by the verdict. Most saw the same thing that I did from day one. This never should have gone to trial. It's a travesty. It's a violation of due process and American law. It is part of this mess that mainstream media is trying to feed into the heads of the citizenry and poison them by saying that their emotions and their feelings are supposed to have paramountcy over what happens within the law. That's not the way it goes. I get people who never even took what they should have gotten in the 4th and 5th grade get to talking about how somebody gonna disprove what these women accused Dr. Cosby of. And the truth of the matter is you don't have to. They have to prove that what they claim is true, not the other way around. That's American law. I see too much of this. Show up on the courthouse, voice your opinion, and get the courts to yield to what you believe. That's not the way the law works. That's called mob rule, mob justice. And if you want a more agreed...
What he's saying is absolutely facts. What we see nowadays is the media tries to control a narrative and paint a picture of whatever they want to, and then it's all emotions and all opinions on, you know, public, on legal matters. Sorry, I gotta fix this headphones. All right, let's get back to it.
Just exemplar. Take what happened to Emmett Till and every other black man that's been lynched in the history of this country because somebody got emotional and decided to suborn the law, go around it, and do what their emotions drove them to do. So that is the way things ought to be. Law separates us from the animals, and we can't have this disregard of the law. I want to commend this Howard Dean for being forthright enough to speak out on what the reality is, and I would suggest that they need to strengthen the breadth requirements at Howard University so I don't see such ignorance coming out of this profound...
I'm having a lot of technical difficulties right now behind scenes with this. Give me a second. All right, there we go.
Historic black university. My father went there way back in the 40s.
Well, Judge, there's two things going on at once, though, Judge.
That I have heard come out of that place lately. And if anybody
so, Judge, I think there's two things happening at once.
Justice, they are too.
So, Judge, I think there's two things happening at once here. And I think, on the one hand, many of us are legitimately aware, and myself included, that the criminal legal system doesn't give equal outcomes to everybody.
All right, sorry people. I think you guys can hear this audio, but I cannot. I'm having some audio technical difficulties right now. Fuck life. Let me try this one more time.
That black folk catch the worst end of this. That black men, when it comes to incarceration, get the absolute worst end of this. And the Bill Cosby case is an example of a prosecutor who was dishonest. Bill Cosby, absolutely, if he's told that you won't be prosecuted for giving this deposition, and then he gets prosecuted, that is a violation of his rights, and that is a violation of due process.
Of course it is.
On the other hand, due process. But on the right. But hold on, let me finish this point, Judge.
On going forward should be disciplined.
So there's that. But then there's the other question that people. So then there's this other question that people though have, Judge, which is a legal question. I mean, which is not a legal question. I think those two things. The non-legal question is about whether or not Bill Cosby actually did harm. Legally, you can say he's not guilty because the not guilty stands.
He didn't do anything. American law, there is an absolute presumption of innocence until you are proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt using due process of law. If there was no due process of law, that presumption of innocence does not remove itself and there is no valid conviction. If there is no valid conviction, that presumption of innocence stands as a rock for the defendant. It is to keep the government from acting in a dishonest fashion and using its powers for persecution. So Dr. Cosby
so I think we're on the same page with that.
Found guilty.
Are you though?
Process. He hasn't done anything. So under American law, the accusations are just that. They carry no weight other than accusations, and they must be proven using due process beyond a reasonable doubt. If they have not been, then they are essentially worthless, just so much talk.
So I think we're on the same page. So I think we're on the same page with regard to the law. I think part of the challenge, and I sent out a tweet last night that you responded to. I'm going to pull it up. It says, I said, Bill Cosby is not innocent. He has not been exonerated. His release means that Cosby, a sexual predator, was incarcerated within a criminal legal system that has as little regard for its own rules and procedures as.
He said he was on the same page as Judge Joe Brown. And then this tweet does not say that he's on the same page at all because he's like, Bill Cosby is not innocent. What? Because what? Did you not hear Judge Joe Brown say that you have to be proven guilty? You're innocent until proven guilty. But you want to put the title on him of him not being innocent because you want to say that he's guilty, and it's a moral high ground of, oh, we feel this way and morally we stand this way, but legally he was proven to not be guilty of this. But you just want to, I don't get it, man. It is what it is. I thought this was
Cosby
news
for his victims. And you responded, you said,
he hasn't had any. Law is a baseless accusation.
Exactly.
It has no weight.
No, so under the law, I think we're on the same page again. But part of the problem,
It's in the 4th and 5th grade, not law school. American law means when somebody makes an accusation, that's all it is. It has no weight. If there's probable cause, you have somebody answer the complaint. But if you cannot find someone guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, they have done nothing. They walk out of there with their presumption of innocence intact. How clear can that be?
Very clear.
There is nothing to answer.
I think that
he had a right to remain silent.
I think that part is clear. No, I think that part is clear, Judge. Let me move the conversation forward.
The burden of proving his guilt. It did not. So he stands.
Right. So I guess what right.
For anybody that has Judge Joe Brown on their platform, when Judge Joe Brown is speaking, you should probably be silent because he's more times than not spitting facts that you should probably listen to. Too much times people want to cut him off and get their point in. It's like, no, just listen to what he has to say and then respond.
So what I want to do is just move the conversation up a little bit. I think you and I agree that legally he's not guilty, that legally he doesn't have any burden of proof. The state does, and it hasn't met that. Legally, his rights were violated. We're on the same page about that. I'm saying the legal question to me is rock solid. But I think what was happening yesterday was people were conflating those two things. They were acting as if because the state didn't meet its burden and because he was released based on the
Axel wheel volume bouncing in and out. Is that my volume, my mic volume, or is that the reaction videos volume? What's going on? I've been having all sorts of audio issues on this stream. So how is it on the audience's side? Let me know.
Fact that he didn't get due process, his due process rights were violated, that was somehow proof of the belief that many people had that Cosby was actually not just legally not guilty, but actually didn't do anything at the moral and ethical level. And hold on 1 second. I just want to place.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, no, hold on. Let me place the question to you. So I guess what I'm saying is, can we hold space for two ideas at the same time? Can someone, under the eyes of the law, be completely not guilty, and at the same time, can we have a public conversation? Because I know you talk about culture, you talk about our community, you talk about values. Can we also talk about the fact that someone can be doing great harm and even be a predator at the same time that legally they're all the things you just said?
No, because the law presumes them innocent until you prove them guilty.
Facts.
It is a specious thing. That's part of this new paradigm where everybody gets a trophy, a participation ribbon. Nobody's feelings get hurt. Freedom of speech gets.
Okay, I'm going to let Judge Joe Brown go because he's going to spit all the facts and probably run over all the points that I'm going to run over. So let me get in my points while I still can. What Marc Lamont Hill wants to do is, we don't care if you are proven innocent in the court of law. Let's us, the media, now have this moral high ground on you and act like everything you've done is deplorable and you're a bad person, although in the eyes of the law, you're innocent. But the media now will take this narrative and hold you accountable in a different type of way, although we have no type of legal ground on you. It's just some moral high ground. It's a lot of the liberal democratic left-wing shit. A lot of people don't want to hear that, but that's exactly what this is. This is Black News Tonight. Black News Tonight. What part of this is news? This is all opinions and feelings.
Restricted if somebody feels uncomfortable or undelighted by what is being said. That's not our reality.
So let me ask you a question. When George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin and the jury found him not guilty, do you feel that the black community should not have continued to express outrage and call George Zimmerman a killer because under the law he was innocent?
They should express outrage with themselves for lacking such political influence in the selection of the district attorney.
Big facts.
Or in the even weight assigned to them. See, the rules are the same. But from my perspective, I think of all the black folk that have called me over the last 35 of jury service, all of the black folk that voted a handout where you've got a racist idiot on that handout for judge and they don't even pay attention to who's on the ballot. I think of all of the black folk who don't go out and vote for sheriff or effectively for mayor or for the district attorney and complain about it. See, when you have an opportunity to do something about it, do it. And see, most of the people that are off in the penitentiaries are not in there for playing Robin Hood. They rob from their neighbors, burglarize their neighbors, kill their neighbors, rape.
I'm going to pause it there 1 second. We're having some technical difficulties. We're trying to work through them this time. This is a real struggle stream by definition. I think that the key word here is accountability. And I don't want to hear people
crying to me and I'm not having that.
Because at the end of the day, we have to be accountable as a community. And Judge Joe Brown is preaching accountability right now.
Their neighbors sold poison to their neighbors. And the other thing is, it's not guns. It's not any excuse. It's we have got a lack of manhood and masculinity in our neighborhoods. See, masculinity is the imposition of a set of behavioral standards on a boy. So when the boy grows into a man, he has some things he has to do that he cannot get away with, that he is compelled to look to, making where he lives a better, safer, more secure place filled with economic prosperity, sense of purpose, morality, and ethics. He is a man of public peace, dignity, and order, who is a man of peace, who can be a brave and courageous man when necessary. See, we have to start taking
Judge, let me
our
pause you for a
neighborhoods
minute.
back.
We're going to take a Judge. I want to hear
Okay.
more about that, Judge. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a quick break and bring it right back. I'm going to push you on some of those things as well. Stay with me. We got more Black News Tonight coming up right after this. Welcome back to Black News Tonight. We're talking Bill Cosby and the aftermath of his case. I'm here with Judge Joe Brown. Judge, again, early in the conversation, we sort of stipulated to the legal parts of this, and we both agree that everyone deserves the right to due process, and no one should be sitting in prison or jail for something that they either didn't do or if their rights are violated, or both. But you've also raised this interesting question that I think is worth unpacking a bit, and that's about ethics and morality within the Black community and holding each other accountable and talking about manhood and masculinity. If we, again, assuming Bill Cosby doesn't take the legal stuff off the table, if we look at the depositions,
Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed, leave a comment, give your opinion on the stream. And if you want to voice your opinion, hit that link in the description, join the stream, and yeah.
the very thing that got him ultimately, the thing that ultimately got him locked up, and those depositions, and he's talking about the various women he had sex with giving them alcohol and pills, whether it's Quaaludes or Benadryl. If you look at the dozens of women who come forward and accuse him, is there room to say, look, Bill Cosby can come home because the prosecutor was wrong, but Bill Cosby also has to be accountable for what he represents and for acts of and for predator-like behavior?
What about these women being accountable for their own behavior? They were groupies.
Well,
You know, sex, drugs, rock and roll, sex, drugs, rap, sex, drugs, baseball, football, basketball, movies, television. See,
yeah,
it's
but
called
right
being
now
a
I'm talking about Bill
groupie.
Cosby. I'm saying
We forgot what that term meant. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. The bimbos come to the party, they hang out, they get drunk, they snort lines.
Okay, I was just speaking for a minute and no one heard me because the audio was off. There's a lot of audio issues right now on my end. We trying to clean that up, but we're going to play the rest of this reaction. We're going to get through this smoothly. Right now, we're seeing Judge Joe Brown making all the points and Marc Lamont Hill just saying a bunch of moral high ground feelings bullshit that I'm just not understanding right now.
Of blow, and they have a good time. They use the hall closets to give head, the bathrooms to get down, and you go in to get your coat off of the bed, and they're laying on top of it doing somebody. See, that's what that's about. So,
yeah, but Judge,
let's not
it has to be consensual,
25,
though.
30, 40, 50 years after something was in big time style. When this stuff started out, the sexual revolution was going on. And a lot of women got into it deeply.
Okay, but so there's two things you raised. But first, let's talk about Bill Cosby. We can talk about the women, but let's talk about Bill Cosby. Let's talk about Bill Cosby for a second, because that's the person we're talking about. My question was, is there room to
Just like a woman.
what did he do? Well, according to the deposition, he gave women pills, and in one deposition, he specifically said he didn't know whether.
Force it down their throat,
No, let me finish.
He didn't take advantage of them. Look at that interview Whoopi Goldberg did with that model Johnson. Whoopi got all. So wait a minute. You're trying to tell me that
hold on, Judge. Let me ask the question.
He found out you were high. He called a cab, took the elevator down with you, put you in the cab, paid your fare, tipped the man, and sent you home because you were high. So what did he do?
So in one deposition, so Judge, in one deposition specifically, when he was asked the question, was he sure that the woman was sober enough to consent? He said, "I don't know." But there's a bigger question here: is if someone willingly takes pills and becomes high and drunk, can they legally consent?
Sometimes you can. Used to be you could. They had a change in there back 25 years ago when they were saying, no, you can't. But before that, basically, you could. That's why they told
right.
you.
So, but we're talking about the
sober.
law. So then, Judge, again, since you're saying we should appeal to the law, if the law says that you can't be
intoxication, where you did something to them they didn't consent to. See, that's when that law started changing from you got yourself drunk, you're responsible to know the bartender's responsible because he lets you get drunk. That's when that change started coming about.
Bill Cosby's admitting to giving women alcohol and pills for the purpose of having sex, and if by the law you can't consent if you're drunk or high,
you go out to dinner or you have a party or something. So
yeah,
does that mean
a lot of people aren't ready for these type of talks, but for the most part, all Marc Lamont Hill is doing is removing accountability from each individual woman like they are a child, and Bill Cosby just took advantage of them. We don't know what happened. Under the eyes of the law, he was presumed innocent, and we all have to just give our opinion and chime in to try to stomp his name through the mud. It's like he served his time. He was released. There was no grounds to even have the case in the first place, so he was robbed some years of his life. But yeah, let's us, the media, say fuck whatever the legal system says, and let's say he's guilty and push that narrative and ruin his life.
It's not the same. That's irrelevant, Judge.
Because they do something they would have done anyway. A whole lot of them I knew back in the years with
sexual assault, Judge.
Particularly Quaaludes. They did that a lot. I had a lot of female clients I had to get out of messes because they had a fondness for Quaaludes. It's not cool,
yeah, but it's
I mean,
okay to take.
Don't you bear any responsibility for this, especially if you keep going back?
So, Judge,
no, Marc Lamont Hill?
I want to lay this out plainly, just so, and I'll give.
So you have no responsibility and no accountability for your own actions, and then you go back, and then Jesus Christ.
If you don't get that bullshit out of my face, bitch.
Give you a chance to respond. I'll even give you the last word. If you give someone drugs and alcohol, even if they want to take the drugs and alcohol, if they get to a point where they are inebriated, where they are high or drunk, you cannot have sex with them. It is not sex, it becomes rape. And even by the legal standard that you're saying we should appeal to.
That's only the law in certain states. It's not for every state. And it goes into the same philosophy.
That's fucked.
It goes into the same thing. I didn't know I was going to get that drunk, so it ain't my fault I got a DUI and kill somebody. How you think that's going to float?
Yeah, there's that. Great
right,
point.
But the difference is the
plus
drunk person has a responsibility to
on the East Coast who want a new category.
The drunk person has a responsibility not
rape.
to get into the
It's
car.
Called rape by
but the drunk
seduction.
person does not have a
responsibility
not to give the responsibility.
And you decide to have a good meal.
This type of shit is annoying as hell. Judge Joe Brown is making great valid points, and Marc Lamont Hill doesn't even want to accept them, so all he's doing is talking over him. Let your guest speak. We're here for his perspective as a judge. A judge. I'm pretty sure he knows the laws better than you.
Linen, candlelight, wine, dine. You go for a walk in the park, my place or yours. Get over there, kissy, kissy, poo, seduction, clothes come off. Everybody has a good time. This crowd wants that to be called
everybody isn't having a good time. One person's being assaulted. Right, but what I'm saying, Judge, and I got to run.
See, that's the point. He never admitted to what he did was accused of, which is
how many people in your court admitted to what they did
all
that
they
were
did
guilty?
Was they asked for it, I supplied it. They want.
He's saying how many people have not admitted to it but actually have been guilty. Well, in the court of law, they said that he is good to go, and he didn't do shit. So why do you continue to say he's guilty? And he denied the claims as well. So you are a news network, Black News Network, or Black News Tonight. It's like a budget news network, 60-something thousand subscribers, relatively new. They're posturing as like a major media outlet, but I do not think they are any of the sort.
Okay,
that's like put some candles on and some incense when we do it. Let's go out and have
No,
a fine meal. Some Pinot Noir,
Giving some this
Cabernet
is
Sauvignon
giving
to
somebody
go with the prime rib and the lobster. And then we, after we leave the 5-star restaurant, we got a nice walk in the park.
This honestly is, with all due respect, is the most disturbing interview I've ever had in my life.
No, but see, you
What?
are into this thing where everybody's got to be protected. This society does not work when the society's obligation is to protect somebody from being.
Marc Lamont Hill said this is the most disturbing interview he's ever done in his life. Sitting next to Judge Joe Brown as Judge Joe Brown runs off the legal. Hold on. He's running down why legally Bill Cosby is innocent and should be left alone. Legally, textbook by the law. And you're saying it's the most disgusting interview or the most, what did he say? Let me pull that back.
Everybody's got to be walk in the park.
Oop, too far.
Giving somebody
to go with the prime rib and the lobster. And then we, after we leave the 5-star restaurant, we got a nice walk in the park.
Yeah, most disturbing
this honestly
interview.
is, with all due respect, is the most disturbing interview I've ever had in my life.
No, but see, you are into this thing where
you, my sir, are disturbed by facts. You want everyone's feelings to be accommodated and coddled. I don't understand how this is the most disturbing interview when all he did was speak facts from a legal perspective as a judge. You see what this is what they're talking about. This is what Judge Joe Brown said in the beginning. That's what his tweet, the whole thing started because of Judge Joe Brown's tweet calling out mainstream media. And look what mainstream media is doing, proving him right. When Kwame Brown says go along, get along, mainstream media, and then Judge Joe Brown proves the point. Right here, serves it up on a platter. It's like anybody could see this. This is all feelings right here. All feelings.
everybody's got to be protected. This society does not work when the society's obligation is to protect somebody from being stupid. You protect somebody's rights.
To protect somebody from being raped, but we got to go, Judge Joe Brown. We can have a conversation, but I got to run commercial breaks. I'm way past commercial breaks.
Just like you can't protect somebody from liability for killing someone in a fatal DUI because the bartender didn't stop serving them when they kept asking.
Facts.
Unfortunately, I got to run with way past commercial break. I know you understand that. Thank you for joining the show. Let us know what you're thinking. Hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at BNC News. Visit the website, bnc.tv. Coming up next.
Okay, he said commercial break. So they're actually on television. Black News Tonight. This is actually on television. This is a real thing on TV. It's not just some YouTube thing. Well, congratulations to them. Join the regular media with the bullshit, because that is just bullshit right there. That's all feelings, no facts. I thought this was a news network. Not a good look.
Stupid.
Silence, you fool.
I first watched that thinking I'm going to get some news, but
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
it's honestly good to have the soundboard working again, because that was a struggle and shit was
Shit getting out of hand now.
real out of hand. But, you know, we back at it. I wanted to play a bunch of
What?
and this
Cap.
because there was a lot of
Cap.
from Marc Lamont Hill's side on that. But, you know, we're going to get out of here and get that bullshit out of our face.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
You know, we deep out here on the soundboard. You know what I mean? But, yo, from Marc Lamont Hill's side,
If you don't get that bullshit out of my face, bitch.
same thing I thought when he debated Candace Owens, and Candace Owens slapped him around. It was comical how easily she dispatched of him. It was pathetic display that he put on, and he was representing the side that was right. When you see someone debate on a side that you're right from, and you lose the debate because you're an inferior debater and you're all in your feelings and you can't bring up the facts and put the facts on display, it is just sad. But, you know, we off in it. We're going to get out of here. We got a full episode to do. I am mad behind schedule. Big behind schedule. We out of here. Yeah.